Hi, I'm Jennifer Jean Patterson of Unplanned Cooking, and I'm here with Zoe Francois and Jeff Hertzberg, authors of Healthy Bread in 5 Minutes a Day, to talk about how to make dough for pizza, lollipops, or sandwich loaves.
5 ingredients to make great homemade, super fast whole grain bread. So literally I'm going to dump all 5 ingredients. 2 kinds of flour, and it's 5½ cups of whole wheat, 2 cups of all-purpose white flour, unbleached flour, and 1.5 tablespoons of yeast, tablespoon of salt, and 1/4 cup of vital wheat gluten, which is a really important ingredient. If you're going to store whole grain doughs, you really need to use vital wheat gluten, and that's sort of the backbone of our book this time around. So I'm going to dump in the whole wheat flour, and then the all-purpose unbleached white flour, and then the yeast and the salt, and 1/4 cup of vital wheat gluten, which is a new ingredient in our books. You really need it to lighten up whole grain loaves that you're going to store in the refrigerator. And what I'm going to make here is going to be stored in the refrigerator for up to 2 weeks. Take a whisk or a fork and blend together the vital wheat gluten with the other ingredients, because otherwise it can form lumps, and you definitely don't want that. And that's why the flours go into the bucket first. And then 4 cups of lukewarm, not hot, water. You could even use cold water, but it would take a lot longer than the 2 hours we specify in the book for it to do its initial rise. So we use lukewarm water. I like doing this by hand. It's just less to clean. And what you end up with is a very, very wet dough that you will not be kneading. It's that wet. I'll close this, but I'll leave a little air space. You can also punch a hole in the top of those or get a vented one, because gases are going to form. We want that to escape in the first 24 hours or so. After a day or two, I usually close that down in my refrigerator. So 2 hours on the counter and then into the refrigerator for up to 2 weeks, and tear off a loaf every day as you need it.
Today I'm going to make what has become my boy's absolute favorite lunch. It is a rolled up spiral pizza that I then put on a stick. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit of flour over the dough that's been, this one's been in the refrigerator for about 48 hours. And I reach in and I grab some, I'm just going to use some kitchen shears to take out a piece. Just roll it around a little bit just to make it smooth. And I'm just going to sprinkle my counter with a little bit of flour just so that my very sticky dough won't stick to it. And then take my rolling pin and add a little bit more flour if I need to, and roll this out into a rectangle. And as you're working, just make sure that you get a little bit of flour under there so that, like I said, it's not going to stick to the countertop. So once I have my rectangle all rolled out, I'm just going to put on some pizza sauce that I made. Any kind of pizza sauce or pasta sauce will do really nicely. And if your kids don't like tomato sauce, you can just do the cheese or some other kind of topping that they love. And then some mozzarella. And I'm going to get a really nice amount on here, but not too much, because you don't want it to sort of bubble over and make a mess of it. So a nice coating, but not too much cheese. And then I just really quickly roll this up into a nice tight log. You can see that went together in just a minute. Pinch that all together so you have a nice seam. And then I want these to be kind of little so that they'll fit in the lunchbox. So I'm just going to stretch out the log a little bit. And then I take my kitchen shears and I cut off about ½ an inch, 3/4 of an inch wide sections of it. So then off to the oven we go with these. And I have a preheated oven at 375, and I'm just going to pop these in. Probably check them in about 10 to 12 minutes, depending on how big you made your rolls. Kids love anything in a spiral and absolutely anything on a stick. Perfect.